Hi everybody. Today's story that I've chosen is Mr. Wolf's Pancakes by Jan Fearnley. One day, Mr. Wolf was feeling hungry and he fancied some pancakes. Yum yum, he said, licking his lips at the thought of a big pile of fresh, delicious pancakes. Mr. Wolf had never made pancakes before, so he took his big recipe book down off the shelf and looked inside. But wolves can't read very well, and Mr. Wolf had trouble making sense of it. So he went to get some help from his neighbours. Look, he's got the book upside down. He called on Chicken Licken, who lived next door. "Please, can you help me read this?" he asked. "No," said Chicken Licken, slamming the door in Mr. Wolf's face. Bang! "Oh dear," sighed Mr. Wolf. He sat down slowly, read the book and worked out what he needed, all by himself. Mr. Wolf looked in his cupboard for all the ingredients, but he couldn't find anything he needed. "I'll go to the shop," he decided, and he settled down to write a list. But wolves aren't very good at writing, so Mr. Wolf called on Wee Willie Winkie. "You're very clever, Mr. Wolf. Can you help me write my shopping list, please?" "No," said Wee Willie Winkie. "Go away," and he slammed his door. Bang! "There's no need to be like that," said Mr. Wolf quietly. Mr. Wolf sat down and tried very hard with his writing until he had made his shopping list all by himself. You see. Now he needed to count his money to make sure he had enough. But wolves aren't very good at counting, so he went to the gingerbread man for some help. You see. "Can you help me count my money, please?" he asked politely. "No, I'm too busy to bother with you," said the gingerbread man, slamming his front door. So poor Mr. Wolf had to sit down and count his money. It took him a long time, and he had to check it 3 times before it was right. But he did it all by himself. Mr. Wolf needed a basket now to carry his shopping, so he called on Little Red Riding Hood. "Please, may I borrow your basket?" he asked nicely. I'm not lending my basket to you," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Now clear off." So Mr. Wolf set off to the shops without a basket. "I'll manage," he said. There he is, going to the shops. Mr. Wolf went to the shop. You see. He looked at his list, remembered what he needed, counted out his money and carried the eggs, milk and flour home, all by himself. Now it was time to make the pancakes, but wolves aren't very good at cooking, so Mr. Wolf called on the 3 little pigs. "Please, can you help me cook my pancakes? I'll share them with you," he said kindly. "No chance," chorused the pigs, slamming their front doors. Bang, bang, bang. Mr. Wolf felt very sad because nobody wanted to help him. Poor Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf went home and started to make the pancakes all by himself. Soon there was a huge pile of delicious pancakes on the table, all ready for eating. Now, as Mr. Wolf had been making his pancakes, a lovely smell had drifted out of the kitchen. All his neighbours could smell it and made them feel very hungry. They wanted some pancakes too. They decided to try their luck. So they knocked on Mr. Wolf's door. "Give us some of your pancakes," said the rotten lot. "Why should I give you any of my pancakes?" said Mr. Wolf. "Not one of you would help me." "Well, we'll help you eat them," replied Mr. Wolf's neighbours nastily. "Anyway, we're not going anywhere until you give us some." Mr. Wolf thought very hard for a moment. There was only one decent thing to do. "Oh, very well then," he sighed. "You'd better come in." Mr. Wolf opened the door wide and whoosh! His greedy neighbours rudely pushed him aside and dashed down the hall. Mr. Wolf shook his head, shrugged his shoulders and followed them into the kitchen. And when they were all in, what do you think? think he did. Mr. Wolf gobbled them up, snippety snappety. And that was the end of his unhelpful neighbours. And then, with his bulging tummy not quite full, Mr. Wolf sat down to eat his pile of pancakes, and he did it all by himself. Well, there was nobody else around. And that was the story of Mr. Wolf's pancakes. Hope you enjoyed it.